Beyond its technical and military capabilities, Israel's main battle tank, the Merkava, is a potent weapon of psychological warfare. It is a statement of Israel's military power and a symbol of Israel's determination to dominate the Arabs. Israelis were only too keen to publicize this power. Promotional videos extolling the Merkava's benefits were posted on the internet. Yet Israel's enemies also proved media savvy. The Al-Manar television station, owned and run by Hezbollah, broadcast its own edited version of the Israeli videos. Except Hezbollah's message about the Merkava was wholly different. During the 2006 war in Lebanon, Israel targeted Al-Manar TV station in an attempt to stop its broadcasts. Ali Shuaib is a correspondent for Al-Manar.
Hello.
Here in the town of Nabatiyah, he showed us the building in which he used to work before it was destroyed by an Israeli aerial attack in the 2006 war. Hezbollah had declined to give us an interview with its fighters. But Ali Shuaib was able to provide an insight into the mindset of these fighters. During the war, he embedded himself with a Hezbollah guerrilla unit.
It
was a matter of determination. Hezbollah fighters would not fire their anti-tank missiles until they were 100% sure they could strike a Merkava. Some Merkavas were destroyed from only 20 meters away.
The issue was not the technology of the missiles, as the Israelis claimed after the war. The issue was determination, creativity, and innovation in the battlefield.
As we saw in that clip, technology failed the Israeli Defense Forces in the 2006 Lebanon War. In many ways, this should not have surprised them in any way, shape, or form. After all, several hundred miles to the east, an even more advanced military was, let's be honest, failing against an equally low-tech opponent. Of course, the military I'm referring to is the United States military. During the insurgency between late 2003 and 2007, despite all of our technological advantages, improvised explosive devices, IEDs, took a terrifying toll on our armored vehicles and, of course, on their human occupants. For Israel, the cost of the war was very high. During the period of direct hostilities, Hezbollah fired some 4,000 Katyusha rockets into northern Israel, killing 157 Israeli civilians. However, that's just the tip of the iceberg. From an economic standpoint, in terms of war material lost and damaged, Israeli soldiers' lives shortened, the estimate is that the July 2006 war cost Israel $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion it did not have to spend on what would be a highly unsuccessful war that, in the end, served really only to make Hezbollah stronger and the de facto leadership in the country of Lebanon. What then were the results of the 1982 Lebanon War? In the main, there are three major outcomes that we need to be aware of. The first is the sidelining of the PLO leadership. In 1970, Yasser Arafat and the leadership had fled from Jordan to Lebanon. Here in 1982-1983, forced to flee once again, this time far, far across the Mediterranean to Tunisia. The millions of Palestinian refugees who were left behind in Syria, in Jordan, in Lebanon, in the West Bank, in the Gaza Strip, are left, in a certain respect, leaderless, which helps to explain why, in 1987, the Intifada happened, largely spontaneously, because there is no central leadership now that the PLO has been sent to faraway Tunisia. The second major outcome of this war was changed perception of Israel. Once regarded as David to its enemies and neighbors Goliath, that perception has been turned on its head. Israel is now Goliath. Its neighbors, the Palestinians, are now David. World opinion at this point begins to shift against Israel. It's no longer the little democracy that could, rather seems to be a kind of aggressor, a bloody aggressor, against, in many ways, an unarmed populace, the Palestinian. Finally, Israel created a new terrorist organization dedicated to its destruction. Hezbollah, the Party of God. Hezbollah is in many ways similar to the later creation, Hamas, with one important difference. Hezbollah is Shia. And as such, Hezbollah allowed Iran to have a kind of beachhead here in Sunni-dominated Arab Muslim world. The ramifications, of course, the formation of Hezbollah continue to this day. The 2006 summer war in Lebanon was, of course, meant to destroy the Hezbollah bases, just as the 1982 war had been intended to destroy the PLO bases in Lebanon. The result is that, to this day, the security of northern Israel is still very, very much in doubt. When we return for the fifth and final lecture in the Israel series, we'll investigate the attempts at peace and the prospects of peace beginning in 1978 with Jimmy Carter's successful brokering of the Camp David Accords between the Egyptian president, Anwar Sadat, and, the man we've been speaking about a great deal today, the Israeli Prime Minister, Menachem Begin. Will end in 2002, 7 years ago. That is because it has largely been 7 years since any major peace initiatives were launched. We'll talk about the reasons why, and we'll talk about the very recent developments involving the visit of the new Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the United States in his meeting with the new American President Barack Obama. On the table of their discussions was the issue of the settlements and the settlers, especially in the West Bank. Next time, peace with a question mark.